Mental health is a life sentence without parole. Too many of us carry invisible wounds, trauma, loss, shame, and silence. I created the Crawl, Walk, Run podcast to break that silence, to give a voice to the voiceless. This is not just a show. It is a platform, a place where authors, veterans, first responders, survivors, and everyday people can share their truth without fear of judgment. We crawl through the darkness. We walk toward healing, and we run into purpose. Together, we will build this community. This podcast is about resilience, about stories that matter, and about reminding the world that your voice could save someone's life. I'm your host, Steve-O, and this is Crawl, Walk, Run.
Richards doesn't come from the system, and that's exactly why she stands out. A British author out of the UK, she didn't grow up shaped by classrooms or traditional writing paths. She built her voice through visual storytelling, film, tension, atmosphere, and turned that into precision on the page. She doesn't just write scenes, she sees them. She started writing in 2020 under pressure, not for attention, but to survive. After losing her brother, who left behind an unfinished novel, she made a decision. One day became right now. And she executed. Writing also under the pen name Roxy Rich, write thrillers based on social injustices, real events and real-life experiences. She moves across genres, thrillers, dark romance, but horror is where she dominates. Especially zombies. And there's another layer to her work. She's faced trauma in her life, something she chooses not to publicly detail. But instead of letting it define her, she channels it. Her writing became a coping mechanism, turning pain into purpose. She writes to make people feel something. To put smiles on faces, and at the same time, to put readers right on the edge of their seats. And this is where she separates herself. Her Grave Pulse trilogy doesn't rely on cliches. She introduced a psychological edge. Zombies that mimic the voices of your dead loved ones, pulling you in before the attack. That's not just fear. That's emotional warfare. Her style is first person, character-driven, and organic. She doesn't overplan, she builds structure, tracks continuity, and then lets the characters take control. They lead. She follows. And it shows, especially in Alex Taylor, who evolves from fear into a full-blown warrior across the trilogy. Her process is disciplined. 3 drafts. Expansion. Emotional depth. Precision editing. She reads everything out loud, refines relentlessly, then publishes through Draft 2 Digital and Amazon, handling her own distribution. No shortcuts. Just execution. She's putting in 80+ hours a week, and it shows. Right now, she's sitting on 15 manuscripts in progress, building out. Grave Pulse Trilogy. Dead Pulse Series, horror blended with comedy. No Pulse Series, a dark UK-based zombie apocalypse, planned for 6+ books. Necro Pulse Anthology, bringing real readers into her world as characters. And she's not stopping. She's expanding into podcasting tied directly to her universe. Bottom line. Richards, also known as Roxy Rich, turns trauma into tension, chaos into story, and pain into something people can feel. Zombies. Psychology. Survival. That's her lane.
I have Storytime with Steve-O. This is the Crawl, Walk, Run podcast, Season 3, Episode 14. and today we're writing about the voices of the dead. And I have Roxy Rich. As you can tell, she has different genres, and today we're just going to talk about a few of them. So this is a little different than the regular podcast, and instead of talking about all about trauma and what people do for coping mechanism, this is an author spotlight. So the halo is on her. I'm going to bring her in all the way from the UK, and this will stream tomorrow. I've interacted with her more than just like typing online. We do voice messages, and I understand where her realm is, and I truly believe that she supports my realm. And I didn't have a guest; my guest canceled, and she jumped up and said, "Hey, I want to be on." And I think all authors should be on podcasts. So let's stop talking about me and let's bring in this amazing woman from the UK. Roxy Rich.
Hey.
What's going on?
Ooh, not a lot. Well, I say not a lot, but I'm always doing about 20 million thousand things at the same time. So yeah.
Well, again, thank you for giving up your undivided time that you have a lot going on in your life, and recording from the UK. So, Steve-O, we're going international. So, your spotlight. So I always ask my guests, and I already know your answer, and I was completely blown away when I heard it. So, Miss Roxy Rich, can I just call you Roxy?
Yeah.
What does crawl, walk, run mean to you?
Honestly,
I'll get right to
the
it.
crawl, fuck the walk.
Right
I
into
run. I'm a bull in a china shop. I don't do any of it. I just charge straight in, head first. Stop
Why?
the consequences.
Why?
It's just doing. I'm a fight or flight person, and 9 times out of 10, I'll stand and fight. If I don't know something, I'll research it. I'll find it out. I'll work it out. I've been through a lot of domestic violence in previous years. I've been through family courts, which was horrific and so corrupt. The system is so corrupt. You can actually find my real story on the American Mothers Coalition page under Natasha Harper, because obviously I wasn't allowed to say my piece. So I used a different name, so I couldn't get into trouble for it because I was gagged. And I've just learned the hard way, basically. I was dragged up, not brought up. Left school when I was 12, left home when I was 13, and been slogging away at life ever since. So I've kind of learned that if you don't fight, then you don't survive. Simple as that.
Great. What is trauma? And if you don't have trauma, what do you do to help other people with trauma?
I wouldn't say I don't have trauma. I still panic when the door goes. I still panic when I'm wrapping Christmas presents. I get freaked out. There's a lot of things that still stick with me because of things I've been through. There's certain smells that I find triggering, like tobacco. I'm okay with cigarettes, but not tobacco. The rolling tobacco. So I'm quite lucky. Then again, a shrink would say I'm not lucky because I can put everything in little boxes, little filing cabinets, and just lock it away. And then it just doesn't affect me. I do have like PTSD, I suppose, a little bit when it comes to certain things. And, but the thing is, if you don't deal with your trauma, if you don't have a way of locking it away like I do, or you don't deal with it properly, it can cause people to fall down and never get back up. And I know that. I understand that. I've done mental health courses. I've got my special educational needs diploma up to level 5, and I've got my child and mental health level 2, which is GCSE equivalent, and I've also got a teaching assistant level qualification up to level 3. And I understand that some people have stronger wills than others, and I think I'm either lucky or I learned the hard way to manage it early. So, but I do have to help my daughter a lot as well, because she's got special needs. She's got triple X syndrome, which is like an extra X female chromosome in all 46 of her chromosomes. So she's got an extra temper. She has all the problems women have and more due to a triple X. And I have to help her regulate her emotions quite often and things like that as well. So it's a work in progress. It takes a long time. Sometimes she'll get things straight away, and other times it takes years to get it. So yeah, there you go.
So with trauma, what are the coping mechanisms that you use to help yourself or to help others? And that's probably why we're here today.
Me, it's my writing. I write books. I write my thrillers in particular on social injustices. So, I write about domestic violence. I write about the system and how it works in all of my books, and how it goes against the victim. That's in all the thrillers I'm writing, and I am in the process of working on at the moment. I'd say even in my dark romances, a little bit of that slips in as well. And possibly in my zombie books as well. Like, I kind of show corruption for what it is, really, I hope, in my writings. As teaching other people to deal with trauma, I don't know. I'm still working on that with my girl. So she's 16 now, and she's still she's not as far along as I'd hope she would be. But at the same time, when she was up until 5 years old, she was screaming and snotting and pulling her hair out, and that's all she did for those 5 years. And then again, bull in a china shop. That's when I decided to look into a diet and into a holistic way to help her get through it all. And that's what I did. I found the Fine Gold program, which is like ADHD program set up in America, which is a clean eating program. And after 12 weeks, although it was hard work because you have to cook everything from scratch, and you have to be really careful what you put into your child's system, it did actually work. She went from non-verbal to verbal in 12 weeks. Her temper tantrums, she stopped screaming all day, every day. She stopped the snotting. She stopped pulling her hair out. She stopped headbutting sharp objects in the kitchen. She used to go around and find the sharpest bit and headbutt till she bled. And the only thing that would calm her down was putting her in the bath, so she'd play in the bath. She used to have about 9 baths a day just so I could get some breather from the screaming. And then, because I was in family court, I got told by certain people, certain agencies, that it was abusive, because how dare I force my other children to clean it because I was making her do it. Even though she went from non-verbal to verbal, and it was just clean eating. So it's organic food, and cooked from scratch. But yeah.
I just want to say that I know a few people out there from my high school graduation class that have children with disabilities, Down syndrome, and other things. And you got to have a strong parent for them to survive, because like when this parent gives up the will, that child, I won't say fails, but that child notices that, even though you don't think that child notices, and people look at that child and they try to judge that book by the cover, that child realizes inside that the parent is not there for them no more. So I have to say, you are a very, very strong-willed woman, and what you're talking about is very hard for other people to talk about, because I know friends that are just like, I'm done. And I'm like, you can't do that, man. Like, they're going to institutionalize your child, and then your child is going to be like,
I'm not having that. No.
no.
The school gave up on her as well. It took me about 2 years, nearly. It was about 2 years after taking her out of school that she finally got over the trauma of school. And they literally gave up on her and let her rot. They weren't interested in it, teaching her anything. It was horrendous. She couldn't even read and write, and she was 11 years old. I was like, that's enough.
Wow.
Took her out of school, taught her to read and write. That's enough.
So you did all the homeschooling and everything?
Yeah, I still home educate now. I mean, she's still quite behind, but she can read a book now. She couldn't read before.
Yeah.
And she can write now. She can type. She runs her own YouTube channel. She's learning how to make book covers because she's quite artistic. I have decided, as much as I've tried, because she doesn't retain information, I am getting her a reading pen to help with her reading, because like she struggles so much with it because she can't remember things very well. So I have decided to get her a reading pen now, which will help her.
So you have all these different degrees with mental health and therapy and stuff. So that's great. So that they can't
Not degrees. I haven't been to university.
All online?
Yeah.
Okay, certifications, but that's great.
Yeah.
Because there's people out there that have no clue how to deal with their children. And then they try to come in and take their children because like they're not educated to do it.
I to be honest, the mental health things I've done, it's a tick boxing exercise. You tell them what they want to hear to pass. Whether I agree with it or not are two different things. And I think that's the problem with the school system. You're told to say things a certain way and to do things a certain way. And that's indoctrination. That's not actually telling you how to deal with stuff and how to cope with stuff at all. And none of those certificates I did any of that. And I disagreed with quite a few bits that they said because of what I've been through, because I know the system inside and out, and I know how it treated my daughter. I mean, I was told at school that I was useless and I'd never amount to anything. And then you could leave school. Now these poor kids can't even leave school unless their parents take them out and home educate. And I'm sure they're trying to stop that because the government's clamping down on it and wants to register. I mean, you don't even do a register. The only other people in the country that have a register are PDFs. And yet we've got to have a register. No.
Okay. So this platform belongs to you. Here's your spotlight. And I first want to talk about, like, what got you in to doing what you're doing today, like the writing?
Before I left school, I wrote a story on a book, and I can't remember for the life of me what the book was called. And I wrote a story, and there was a missing gap in the book where this girl had disappeared. And I wrote a story on this whole month that this girl had disappeared when I was in school, and my teacher was a bit freaked out and said, "It's brilliant, but it's way too adult for, it's not age appropriate," type of thing. I was like, oh, okay. And that was the only time I ever had a teacher say I'd done anything really good. And then, God, I think it was about 14 years ago now, my brother died. He fell off a bridge, literally fell off a bridge. There was a place where we lived where it was a car park, and quite a few of the locals, especially if you were drunk and you just wanted to cut through, used to go around this car park and climb around the fencing to get into the other side of the car park so you could go down the bottom. It was a quick cut through, and he must have been drunk and slipped and hit the floor, and yeah, God rest his soul, he died. He was only 27. Yes, the 27 club, I know. 27, 28.
You said it, but I was just going to say.
But he had a book in his computer. Go on, sorry?
You and I both. I said I was going to say the 27 club.
Yeah. He had a book in his computer, a science fiction book, novel, and apparently it was brilliant. My mum and dad read it. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was called Golden Balls in the family, because he was the golden boy. So they absolutely loved this book, and we couldn't get the book off the laptop because he dented it or something. And of course, then he died and nobody ever got to read the book. So, you know, all these people that say, oh, I've been writing for 8 years, you could be gone tomorrow and your book's just sat there and it'll never be read. And that is so sad that you've worked on a book for that many years and you've never got it out there. So in 2020, when the world turned topsy-turvy and upside down and everything was going psycho, you know, that the entire world was on a narrative that was fixed and planned as far as I'm concerned, and that was there to ruin your mental health, and that was there to, cause serious damage to people, their health and their mental well-being. And I found out early that things weren't right. So I suppose you could call me a conspiracy theorist. Probably known as that in my family, but I've always been the black sheep in my family anyway, because, like, I'm the milkmans. And, you know, I knew it was wrong. To start with, I fell for it because I loved my films and I was watching all these films like, was it Contagion and things like that. And then things started not adding up. And because I'm on certain meds for my illnesses, and because I've got some quite serious illnesses, I knew then that it was definitely wrong. And I just, the only way I thought and at the same time I was dealing with taking my daughter out of school, because during lockdown obviously they were home educated, and I couldn't get over how bad her education had gone and how far she had fallen. Because at one point she could read a little bit. At one point she could write her name a little bit. And then all of a sudden she couldn't do any of it. I was like, she's just been in a special school for 2 years. What on earth have they been doing? So, so I was dealing with all of that, and they tried causing trouble for me because I took her out of special school. How dare I? And I just thought, oh, no, it's about, I need to put all this energy and all this pain and all this hurt and all this anger into something that the world can read. So that's what I did. And that's when I started writing.
So show everybody what you started writing at first, because I don't have pictures of that.
Well, the first ones were the Working Girl series. And these are all based on true stories. but I just dabbled my feet in them. They were my first ever books. So there's one, Jolene is a girl. All my thrillers are based on like real events and real people, loosely, and then I add my own twist. So Jolene is about a girl and her sister who has autism, and their father's a yardie and a purveyor of women, shall we say, in a polite sense of the word. But I wrote this, it was a bit, I don't know, I did it in quite an old English style, because with these books I was trying to find my style as a writer. So this is written very old-fashioned, considering she's a young girl growing up in the 80s, you know. And it's quite dark, and as I said, some of it, well, it's based on a true story, not all of it. I knew the beginning, and I knew the ending, and I literally wrote the story from there. This one, again, I kind of knew bits of the story, and then I filled in the gaps myself. This is another one based on, well, they're all of the Working Girl series are based on true stories. There you go. I will say, Painted is a little less truth and more based on the conspiracy theories that are going around, you know, about kind of hunting parties and stuff. But the main character in it is based on someone who I knew.
I just caught the hunting. Okay. So,
yeah.
Was the next series the zombie books, or what was the next?
Yeah, I wrote these, and I wrote Grave Post, which is my favourite all-time zombie series that I've written, to be honest, only because, like, all of my the main character's named after my sister Alex. There's also some other side main characters. There's Steele, which is my son's name. There's Buffy, which is my daughter's name, and then there's Blade, which is my oldest son's name, who sadly I don't have anything to do with anymore. But these books were basically written for my kids for when they're older, to see themselves as I see them, as the people in the books. And I did Blade as an ex-vet with his leg blown off, actually, which is quite like lost his leg from an IED. But Buffy is like she's got triplex in the book, and she's like she's a warrior. She can fight with butterfly swords and everything. And then Steele is kind of like the boss of the survivors that Alex meets and finally finds her family. And yeah, and then she kind of falls for him in a big way, and it all goes a bit, I won't give too much away, but when I was writing book 3, I cried from about a third of the way from the book all the way to the end till I finished writing it. I was in tears. I was literally blubbering. So yeah. And then so I did that one next. Then I wrote The Footlocker, which is about a serial killer, and it's in first person. And I wanted to see if I could write from a man's point of view as a serial killer. And I think I did it pretty well in The Footlocker, which is the blue one with the feet. Because it was based on, did you ever hear about that story about loads of shoes being found in the Texan desert?
Are you talking about all the bones and all the shoes and arms and everything in the area?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I based the footlocker. That's where I got the footlocker idea from. Only I kind of mixed it up a bit because he was like, he's an insurance broker, so it was a mixed bag of that, a little bit of, well, a lot of Dexter's dark humor, and a bit like Falling Down as well, where he's kind of an insurance broker and everybody thinks he's normal. You know, he's the good husband, he's the good neighbor, he's the good this, the good that. Meanwhile, he's like hunting for girls' feet. And then I did some research on that about what effect certain products have on alligators in the Florida swamp. And did you know that EPAs can make alligators just have one-sex babies?
No, I didn't know that.
I do. I researched all that, and I use that part in the book as well. So, yeah.
So I'm going to show some books and you just briefly talk about them. Hopefully I get this right.
Okay.
Here?
This one, yeah. Exposed has 4 true stories in it. Even though it's about one person, I've mixed it up with another few stories that I know of. And it's domestic violence. It's a domestic violence thriller. It's about a girl who is falls in love with a copper, a British copper, British policeman, I think you call him over there. And he's a psycho. He's a nasty piece of work. He's a violent dog. He's evil. And she goes through 5 years of hell, of being raped, assaulted, battered, bruised. He's just evil. And he gets everybody to believe his side of the story because obviously he's a copper and she's nobody, you know? And I found that in my life as well, that like, if you're a nobody and you're not a professional, your voice isn't heard. Full stop, end of. No matter what your story is. I haven't finished with that one. Come back. So yeah. Anyway, in this book, there's a thing called the Freedom Programme in the UK, which domestic violence survivors go to learn about all the different types of abusers. And I did the Freedom Programme because obviously I'm a survivor myself. And I put all of these types of abusers in this book.
Wow.
To validate the survivors and what they've been through, but also anyone who reads that book is going to read about the different types of abuses there are and what these type of abusers are called. And her boyfriend is all of them. And then it turns into like a revenge arc then, but she loses custody of her child. She goes into a woman's refuge, she loses custody of a child, and all is lost. And then like her mum dies and leaves her a ton of money, and then she completely changes her life, and it's the revenge arc, but in a different way. She knows that he's untouchable, so instead she goes after other abusers. So yeah, to me that book came from the heart, and it kind of upsets me that more people don't read it, purely because I put so much effort into writing it and making sure that whoever read it would understand that all the different abuse types are in there, you know? So yeah, now you can swap to another one.
I'm hoping from this podcast that we show your books and you do a brief breakdown of each one, that people will purchase them and get the real message out.
Yeah.
We're going to go, hopefully, we've already done all the zombie books. So I have a few books here, quite a few. So we need to be pretty brief. Leave them on a cliffhanger.
Okay. Demons, again, based on a true story. A friend of a friend was locked up against her will to steal her inheritance. And that's what this story is based on, basically. It happens in the UK a lot, where you're detained against your will. Only takes, like, I mean, I don't know if they changed it now, but during COVID, it only needed one doctor to sign your rights away and to put you under the Mental Health Act. And even now, they are knocking on people's doors who speak up against the system and trying to detain them against their will. So yeah, another one.
Now we're going to get into a different genre that's going to make you smile, and probably our audience is going to love this. So this is not my genre, but I think it's pretty funny that these books right here, they sell off the chart. Don't ask me why, but okay, I hope I have these in order. So let's talk about this.
But that's my latest one.
Oh, okay, hold on. What's that one?
That's Breaking Velvet was the first one I did, and I've still got something's going on with my Word at the moment, because I had book 2 and book 3 on third draft and just waiting on me to read through and final edits and to expand a little, and they've both gone from my Word, so I've lost them, which means I've completely lost, like, where I was going with this. It's not even, because I thought I kind of wrote down what I wanted next and typed it on Word, and that's gone too. So I'm going to have to read this book from start to finish now to remember, I remember where I want to go. Again, this book, the main character was based on a friend.
This reminds me of like Shades of Grey or something.
Yeah, it's that type of book.
Okay. And then this is the next one.
Yeah, I really like this book. I love this book.
Genre right here.
Dark romance again. Dark romance, a stalker kidnaps the girl. He's a famous artist. She works at an art gallery. He wants her to be his living canvas. Yeah, and then it's proper Stockholm syndrome, this one. She actually falls big time for him and vice versa. And they go on the run together. And I won't say any more than that. But this one's a tearjerker.
So yeah,
I thought so anyway.
2 last books, and I don't think you know I know the very last book that you wrote, but this one is your latest.
That's a motorbike club book. This one was more done from my imagination, to be honest. And it's a great book. It ends on a cliffhanger. That's all I'm prepared to say. But again, it's dark romance. So there's a lot of exhibitionism in it and stuff like that.
So I was surprised that you came out with this.
Yes. Yeah. No, don't be surprised. I have a whole series planned on those. I am so fed up with seeing new authors getting ripped off by everyone and everything. Like, magazines want your money, publishers want your money, or so-called publishers want your money, so-called proofreaders want your money, so-called this, that, and the other want your money. It's ridiculous. I've had enough. So I've decided to write a whole series of these type of books, which will save the author, a new author, thousands of pounds, because everything's in there, including all the warnings, including all the, the fake ass authors that pretend to be an author that aren't an author, that just get you talking on Facebook because they want your money. Oh, well, I've got a friend and that's why I'm a bestseller. Don't lie. You're a scam artist. You're a conner. Everything will be in these books. And there's also courses, full 51 module courses to go with each book that I write. So I've got the 51 module course for this, which is on Gumroad and PayHip. I've also, I think I've put up to 7 of the modules out on Facebook under this page. And of course, all of the course will be in my paid subscriber on Substack wall. And the first 10 will be free on Facebook. The first 10 modules will be free on Substack. But yeah.
I'm going to feature this book on the blacklist, on my blacklist page where I call out scammers. And then I know no filters about authors being scammed and the funnel organizations for awards. So this one I'm definitely going to have to. Is this on Kindle?
Yes.
I wish it was on audiobook, but I am going to download this and look at it because I want to see the difference between this and no filter, because it just, this one blows my mind because I didn't know you released this, and then I found it and I was like, okay.
I've kept it pretty quiet, but I've done it. I'm doing it. It's about everything to do with being an author, everything that I've learned. And I had to do a bit of research on it as well. And there was a few things that I learned while I was looking into writing it as well about Google Play Books, for instance, and things like that. So yeah, there's going to be a whole series. There's going to be one on marketing. There's going to be one on lead magnets. There's going to be one on editing. There's going to be like a whole series of them, and they're all going to have courses, like 51 odd courses to go with the book. So yeah.
Talk about your logo. How did you come up with this logo with S&M stuff in it?
Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm a big fan of Rocky Horror. And on top of that, like, there's a bit, even in the thrillers, there's a bit of like, I skim across like assaults and stuff like that. So, and then obviously with the dark romance as well. And horror, for R. Richards as well. So yeah, I just thought it was a great idea. But the Deadpool series is my hilarious zombie collection. So although it's a series, each is a standalone novel. So Crumpet FM is about a radio show where Talia Knight, this is what I want to do my podcast on as well, but it's going to take me time now. Talia Knight is a radio host, and she basically rips into conspiracy theories. So I had quite a lot of fun writing it because obviously I am a conspiracy theorist, apparently, according to others and according to members of my family. So it was quite a challenge to write the book from the other side, if that makes sense, where the person doesn't believe in any of the things. So that's what I did, and it's written as a podcast in the book as well, and it's got 2 different endings, so the reader can choose what ending they prefer. But it's quite hilarious. And then the Council Estate Queen, Tracy Barnes in The Council Estate Queen. Zombie books are missing up-to-date, fresh modernization, I think. I've read a lot of zombie books, and not a lot of them are modern. And the Council Estate Queen, in the UK, we have, like your trailer parks over there, and we have the Council Estate people, and we call them chavs. But yeah, and that's I grew up like that, so I don't care. Do you know what I mean? But like I've got again, Tracy Barnes was based on a very good friend of mine who has got 6 kids, And I based her entire character on this friend of mine who's got a mouth like a sailor, and she's got 6 kids, and she's hilarious. I love her to death. And yeah, she's really sarcastic and witty, and there's a lot of like one-liners in there, a lot of gallows humor. But yeah, definitely. But what a character! So yeah, the Dead Pulse series are all different stories with a modern day twist, but they're all sarcastic, gallows humor. They're a laugh, basically. And then obviously I've got I'm Famous, I Want to Escape, which is coming up, which will be published soon. And that's the 3rd installment on the Dead Pulse series.
The artwork is amazing. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. So there are 2 things left. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. There are 2 things left. If you're a new author and you're coming onto the scene, what would you recommend for them?
What would I recommend?
Publish or indie?
Indie.
Okay.
But learn your craft. Learn your craft. Learn about editing. Learn about proofreading. Learn about how a story should work. Learn about what people are looking for. Learn from your readers on online forums what they want. Avoid the scammers, because the scammers are rife in the author world. It's absolute joke. Never pay to publish. Never pay to publish. And you know, if somebody jumps in your inbox and says, oh, but I can do this for you. No, they can't. They just want your money. Don't listen to it. They just want your money. They just want what's in your wallet. Your bank account will thank you if you say no. And just learn how to do everything yourself. Why would you spend however long you spent writing a book and not learn how to publish? Not learn how to publish on KPD, not learn about all the things that comes with it, the marketing, the book covers, the lead magnets, everything you need to know about being an author. You know, why wouldn't you? I mean, I'm still learning. I started this journey in 2020. It's now 2026, and I'm still learning every day because there is so much to learn. But obviously you need the basics. Learn your craft. If you're going to be an indie author, you need to learn how to do it. Don't expect somebody else to do it for you. I mean, I've seen people, oh, can I pay someone to format? What? I was just like, what? Word is pretty easy to use. It's not difficult. Like, why would you write a book and then trust some stranger with your baby? I just, no. But then again, I suppose that's what parents do all the time, don't they? They have children and send them to school.
So the last thing,
Don't get it.
You talk about the podcast real quick.
Yeah, it's kind of on hold, basically, because Audacity is kind of hard to use. And I'm just setting up my YouTube channel now, where I've got like quite a few of my zombie fiction books on there, and I'm still learning my way around. Yes, they are all AI read books. But for me to read a book and take that long to do it, it would take me hours and fill up my Mac, which hasn't got a separate drive, and I'm not that tech orientated. So although I do want to get them all narrated eventually by a human, i.e. probably me, hopefully, at the moment, I just want to get the books up there and out there, and it'll be the same for my podcast. Like, I just wanted to do that on the conspiracy theories side from the Crumpet FM book, but I think I need to maybe shorten it. I'm not quite 100% certain yet, but I do want to do it. But obviously,
you and I were discussing episodes, and you were asking me certain things that were going on in the United States for episodes, and I thought that was pretty wild. So I really wish you the luck on the podcast, and it's almost like a radio show. Almost, it sounds like.
yeah, well, that's what it is. That's what it is. The radio show's called Truth Twisters, and it's basically Talia Knight, who's the radio host, and she works the night shift on the radio, and she allows people to call in with their wild conspiracy theories, just so she can rip them apart. But then, of course, like the zombies start creeping in then, and she doesn't know whether it's real or not.
You're definitely a creator. You're definitely a visionary. You tell your story. Like I said, I love your concept of walk. Like you're always going, and lessons learned. So I want to thank you for giving up all your time from the UK and coming on. One last thing I have to ask. I always say mental health is a life sentence without parole because I worked in a prison and I saw murderers and killers walk. But when you have the demons like we have with our children, the stuff we struggle with, it haunts us every day. But you have to be strong-willed, and I really appreciate you coming on here and telling your story. And I really hope this one's a banger, like on your side too, in the UK. Share it out. It's streaming tomorrow, so yeah, I'm gonna download it and send it to you immediately that you can send out to family and friends, but don't post it on social media yet. I don't know why I have to tell people that, but that gives away my show. But anyways.
Yeah. Just tell me when I can post it, and then
tomorrow at 6 p.m. my time, so you're ahead. So I don't care. You can post it tomorrow, but I just, yeah. So I wanted to thank you very much. Amazing story, amazing books. I'm only 4 in. I'm done. Like I'm an advocate now. I can't write
You said that after 2 though, and then you wrote another one. So I kind of think you're fibbing there. I think once a writer, always a writer. I think once you start, it's always in your blood. And I think, to be honest, you'd be really, really good. I mean, you've got a hell of a scope there, haven't you? You can write military books because you're an expert. And that might be really good for your mental health as well, by the way, because that's why one of the reasons I write about social injustices. And then on top of that, you just said you worked in a prison as well. So you could use stories based off that as well. So you've got quite a big scope of books that you could write. I think you've still got some books in you,
Now, the Reflection Series Legacy Edition, I'm done. My podcast is the most important thing where I try to boost authors and have people tell their stories, because you'll see at the end, I don't think you've ever seen this, but the trailer that I play at the end of my podcast to promote The Broken Mirror. So, but The Broken Mirror does talk about my prison side, not in prison, but working within the system. Okay, so we like to always say the clique or the system or whatever it is. But I wanted to thank you.
It'll give you a laugh.
What?
I was born in a prison.
You were what?
I was born in a prison.
Wow. No way. Wow. So why don't you write a book about that, being born in a prison?
Because I was only born there. I didn't know anything. I didn't even know it had happened till I was 37.
Today we can elaborate. I mean, you can go nonfiction and be like, almost like, not to say like you're the baby of many, or whatever. These women have these babies in prison and stuff, and they don't know who the father is, Could like have the baby trying to find a father throughout a journey, You have an amazing mind. You could have that work, but definitely I'm not going to write a book about that. So
no, I was a product of Glib. So yeah. But yeah. It's somebody else's story. It was my mum's story, so it's not mine. And she didn't even tell me the whole truth about it. She just dropped a bombshell on me when I was 37. It was my 37th birthday, and I was in the women's refuge, and I was stressed, and I was scared, and I was upset because I was dealing with my daughter having blue episodes and not breathing properly, and I was dealing with my eldest son's father threatening to haunt me till he died. So yeah, I kind of phoned up and said I give up, blah blah blah, and then she blurted out that on my 37th birthday, and I was like, now I understand why you hated my guts all my life. At least I get it now. Thanks. No, I get ya.
Well,
Didn't get it before. Got it then. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders because I all of a sudden realised it wasn't me. It wasn't me that she resented.
You are an amazing person, amazing author. We're definitely out of time. So, love, peace, and joy. I'm going to drop you down. Thank you very much for coming on. All your links that you sent me will be in the write-up for finding your books everywhere. So I can't wait to I'm sorry. Damn, I almost said it. Almost said a swear word. I can't wait. I can't wait till people find your books. That's what I was trying to say, find. But it slips sometimes. I'm sorry. I can't wait because I'm so happy for you that you're doing such a great job and you're doing such amazing stuff with your daughter. So
thank you.
You have a good one. I'm going to put you down now.
Okay, sweetheart. See you soon. Bye. Bye.
I am Storytime with Steve-O. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut her off. Yeah. So, hey, if you have a story you want to tell, hit me up. I got people hit me up from all over the world. This was season 3, episode 14. She is writing for the dead voices. She is Roxy Rich. She has so many books. She's not an AI writer. Trust me. She's not one of those people that feed stuff right into a computer and be like, the book is made. She has showed online her editing, everything that she does, writing the story, telling the story. She spends like 80 hours a week doing this, people. Tell your story. Listen to what she has to say. Like, share, follow. I'm Storytime. Y'all have a great one. You get out of the military and no one tells you how to write a resume. You are handed a DD Form 214, your certificate of service, and suddenly you're on your own. I am William A. Stevens, Jr., a retired United States Army Field Artillery Sergeant First Class, and I know exactly what it feels like. I am also a 3-time award-winning author and an Eric Hoffer Book Award winner in 2025 for The Broken Mirror. In this book, I tell it raw, unfiltered, the truth about survival, the trauma, the bonds, and the breaks along the way, especially the bond with my own daughter. If you are leaving the uniform life, feeling lost and disconnected, unsure of who you are, here's how it is. You are not failing. It takes time. You are not alone. The Broken Mirror is more than my story. It is a guide, a hand to hold, a way to face the silence, step back into purpose, and find your voice again. And don't be left in the silence. But I'll tell you, the grass is not greener on the other side.
Crawl, walk, run has been brought to you by Storytime with Steve-O. And speaking for the once in silence, we are the voice of the unheard. If you have a story, please reach out. Till next time.